Two, one, ghosts. Welcome to Chill's Fan Club. I'm your host, Sonny Carver. This is my co-host, Alex Yodler. Welcome.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin'? We're
All right.
back in black.
So today we're talking about ghosts. We're doing the paranormal experiences episode. This is one we want to do really bad. So we're basically just going to be talking about our different experiences with ghosts in our friend group. We've got our friend Josh here. He's my cousin. We'll talk about him in a second. But first, I kind of just want to give an intro about why we're so obsessed with this kind of stuff. Um, so our friend group kind of just has an obsession with like paranormal activity, I guess. So we just started with watching like spooky movies and stuff. We liked watching horror movies.
And this is all like middle school.
Yeah, this is like ninth grade because I didn't really start hanging out with you guys till like ninth grade. This is
Very
like
ninth
middle
grade,
school,
yeah.
ninth grade, yeah. And the start of high school. So then Josh like started having his own experiences. I started having my own like spooky experiences, and then we had these LAN parties where we just all go over to Sonny's house and just stay at his house for a while. So we'd watch spooky videos,
All
and
day, all
we
night.
we kind of stumbled upon these two YouTubers named Chills and Nukes. Who post scary videos like ghost sightings and stuff. They do like top fives or like top tens, top 15s, whatever. So we
Yeah.
kind of just we sit there and we
will-
speak
yeah.
on the authenticity of those different clips, and it's
Yeah,
kind of
we literally deconstruct every clip
debunk
to
them.
the very minute detail.
So it's kind of become like a bonding experience for like our friend group. So that's why we really like talking about ghosts. So yeah, we've got Josh here. Josh, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, dude?
What's up, guys? I'm Alex's cousin, Josh.
Yeah. So Josh,
What's up, Josh?
Josh is the dude who introduced me to Sonny and like the rest of the friend group and everything. And he's had some of the like spookiest ghost stories to tell. That's kind of why I wanted to pull him on here because he's got some
He's
really
got so
sketchy
many.
ones. Yeah. So Josh, if we can just start with uh, any story you want to start with, dude. We're ready for you.
Okay.
How many do you got?
I was just gonna tell two,
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
but I have more, a lot more. So kind of ever since I was little, like my little sister, who's
Ooh, this one.
2.5 years younger than me. So right now, so ever since we were both little, she would just like freaking act so weird, just specifically at nighttime. And like she would roam the halls and like just whisper and like I kind of just thought it was sleepwalking and just I don't even know what else it would be, to be honest.
Yeah.
But my
Wait,
dad
you
huh?
glitched out when you said how old she was. How old is she?
So she's 2.5 years younger than me, so right now she's
Mm.
14.
Mm.
But this happened probably 2 years ago, maybe 1.5, I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I
But
think it was like a year and a half ago.
yeah. But my dad has told me that ever since she was little, he would like see her doing weird crap as a kid, just like in nighttime. And
Like what
one
kind
and a
of
half
weird
years
stuff?
ago, just like walking around the halls, whispering. Now she like refuses to sleep in her room that was her childhood
Oh
room
yeah.
because she says there's something in her closet.
Oh
And
jeez.
normally that wouldn't be weird to me, but she's like almost 15 now and she's
Yeah,
still scared of it.
because like kids always say, "Oh, there's a boogeyman in the closet, boogeyman under the bed,
Yeah.
or whatever." But like she's 15 years old at this point, and she's still saying this. So that gives her a little spunk.
Credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, wait, there was one time where like you went upstairs and she was like curled up by the fire or something like that.
Yeah,
Explain that
that's
one.
my
That's
story
the
then.
story Josh is telling. Yeah.
That's the story.
Oh, that would
So one
literally would
time,
scare me so bad, bro.
so one time I was sleeping and I woke up and I had sleep paralysis, which is just where you can't move, but you're like fully aware that you're awake. And lots of people
Mhm.
see weird crap when this happens to them, but not me for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know.
You can
I've
have
never
like
seen like
hallucinations or whatever while
yeah,
you have
I've
sleep
never
paralysis, but
seen like a sleep paralysis demon like people always talk about.
yeah.
But I had it and I've had it before, so I was like, okay, I'll just wait till I can move again. And then I was finally able to move. And I went upstairs to go tell my mom. I don't even know why I was going to tell my mom because I wasn't even scared or anything. But I went upstairs to tell her and I was telling her. And then all of a sudden my little sister like comes running around the corner on all fours,
Oh
completely
god.
like asleep and like unaware of what she was doing, and she runs over to my fireplace that's inside, and she starts whispering to it, and like I have no idea what language she was talking, and it was not English at all. And I just asked her if she was okay. I was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And she looks at me and my mom with her eyes wide open, and she just starts screaming, "What? What? What? What?" And I'm like, "Jane, go back to bed." And she just friggin' runs on all fours and goes back to bed.
What?
Like,
So I don't know the explanation behind that. I don't think she was possessed, but I think that she's definitely freaking like seen something
yeah,
that I can't see.
So,
yeah.
and doesn't she like when you try to talk to her about it? She's just like, nope, not
Yeah,
talking. Like,
she just doesn't want to
Yeah,
talk
she
about
just.
it. And I'm
I
like,
mean, well, like, would you want to
makes
talk
sense.
about that? Yeah, that's
I
kind
mean, I
of
don't know.
kind of
I don't know,
terrifying.
but
Well,
like one time I asked her, I was like, "What did you see?" And she's like, "Well, I don't see it." And I'm like,
it.
Okay. So I'm guessing she just hears freaking weird stuff, and maybe that's what she was like talking to when she whispers.
well, yeah, because if you hear like weird sounds for long enough, like it can start making you feel like you're going insane, and then you start wanting
Yeah.
to like
Mm.
talk back. And so like usually I heard this story, and like this this was around the time I wasn't like a huge ghost guy. Like I was still kind of skeptic or whatever, right? But like I heard this story, and usually like with my current mindset or in this like time period, I wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, that's real. No, like that sounded like a fake story to me. But I've spent so many nights at like Josh's house, and like I know how creepy, like sleeping in Josh's basement and stuff, it's just so dark and creepy down there. And
Yeah.
everyone's just gonna say like, "Oh, it's a basement," but like, no, it feels like Josh and I have had both. We've both had like weird
There's a
experiences
different feeling.
together, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a totally different feeling.
Yeah.
Like one time we just woke up to this like massive banging noise, and like it's really creepy. And so
Yeah.
I heard that, and that's kind of what sparked me into really wanting to get into ghost stuff as well. That's
A
just
couple
so
months
crazy.
ago, I was literally just laying down watching Netflix, and I just hear, "Hey," and like
Oh
this little
no.
girl's voice, and I was like, I thought it was my mom, like coming down to tell me something. So I looked at the door, and like nothing was there, bro. It was just I
That's-
heard it so clearly, just
Yeah,
in one of my ears. But
What?
I didn't like feel a breath or anything, but I just freaking
just
heard it
heard it. Well,
with such clarity.
another thing too to keep in mind here is some people say that like watching scary movies or whatever is like inviting those kind of spirits into your house, right? Because you're like
Mm.
you're giving them like permission almost because you're watching you want to get scared, stuff like that. Josh's house is always where we watch the scary movies because if if we ever had a chance at watching R-rated movies, because a lot of our friends are LDS, so they can't watch R-rated movies at their house. It was always at Josh's house because his parents were chill. And so like that was always where we'd go and watch the like scariest movies and stuff. And then he started having some really creepy experiences at his house.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
weird. Literally at my house, we watch so much crap. And I get nothing, dude. Literally nothing. I do
Yeah.
get like I get a little scared. I'm going to bed. It's like 12. It's midnight. And I'm like, I turn off the lights. I'm like, okay, be careful, be careful. And I just like jump in bed and like you get a tingle down your back. Does anyone get that? I'm literally just scared for no reason. But I've never seen nothing. Like nothing at
Yeah.
my house.
Well,
My house is clean.
that's the thing. My family, like, we kind of think that we're a little more susceptible to spirits and
Yeah.
stuff,
But yeah,
like
that's the thing.
genetically. Because like my dad, when he first heard about my little sister not wanting to sleep in a room because it's scary, he would go in there and he would feel that vibe like
Oh,
instantly of just something not good being in there.
And there's a difference
And
between
so,
scared and like feeling something like
yeah,
that. Like there's a
yeah,
total difference, I
yeah.
think.
Scared is just psychological. Like you're like, oh, what could be there?
Yeah,
But she knew something was there.
you know something's
mm.
there when you're feeling
And
something like
so
that.
Well,
my
back.
in my
Okay.
religion, we believe that we can like bless a room and stuff and like
Mm-hmm.
help it drive out spirits. And so my dad goes in there to try to do that because it's a power that's specific to males, and
Fuck.
goes in there and tries to like give it a blessing, and his tongue just like ties up and he like almost
Oh,
passes out.
That's
He's
what's
like,
really
yeah,
freaky
he
is
was trying to talk but he couldn't.
I hate that.
Josh's household. Like Josh's family is pretty dang religious. Like they're pretty tight with Mormonism. Like they're pretty spiritual family, and the fact that like that's still happening in their house, that's so
Yeah,
freaky. Especially after like Jack was literally trying to like get that thing out of there with like
Yeah.
religious like
hmm
practices, and it made it so that he couldn't do those religious practices. It's just
Yeah.
so creepy, man.
Another
Mm.
small story is just this was also a couple months ago. My mom had a really scary experience, which I'll tell later after Alex tells us. But after that happened, my dad was like just seeing if there was any rooms to bless, and he was just going downstairs, and then he was down there for like 10 minutes. So I'm guessing he just was blessing a room because he felt something scary,
Yeah,
which
Mm.
is not good.
that's so freaky, man. All right, yeah. So I can tell a story now, and then we'll cut back to one of Josh's. So around this same time, Josh is having like these experiences. I started. So I stay at Josh's house a ton because I go to school closer out there. But I actually live in Clearfield, but I'm not at my house a whole ton. So I was sleeping at my house, and I was with my family. It was like 8 or 9 and it's winter, so like in Utah around then it's pitch black outside by that time, like
Mhm.
completely dark. And I remember we were just cleaning up from dinner, like doing dishes and stuff, and my dad asked me if I could take out the trash. I'm just like, yeah, okay, sure, sounds good. So I grab the trash, I go outside, and so I go through the garage door. So I'm in my garage, and then on the garage, like in the garage, there's another door that leads outside to where the trash cans are. So I figure I'm just gonna go through there because I don't want to step on the snow that's outside through the front. So I just go through that, and I open the door, and I noticed first off, I had never noticed this because I don't really use that door a whole ton, but I just didn't want to step in the snow. I noticed that there were like names written in the cement. And like that freaked me out. Obviously, that's like a very common thing for people to do when they're laying cement. They just write their names in it or whatever, right? But like I had just
Mhm.
noticed that. I'm just like, oh, that's kind of creepy. And so then I walk outside, and then I notice like while I was looking at those like names in my peripheral vision, I saw a tree, right? And I dismissed it. But then I'm just like, wait, we like don't have a tree there, right? So I'm just like, wait a minute. And I look up, and in the tree, I see a tree, and I just see like this little girl just like hanging from the tree in a noose. I dropped a trash bag, and I just run inside.
Jeez.
Yeah, I took the trash out in the morning because I was just not about it. I was super duper freaked out about it, and I didn't want
How,
to tell my family about it or anything because like I thought that they'd think I'm crazy or whatever.
how old
Um,
were you?
this was like the same time Josh was having his experiences, so like a year and a half ago.
Year and a half ago?
Actually, no,
Oh,
this was 10th grade year, so 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
Dang,
I
dude.
was so freaked out about it, especially because that was my first year living in that house, and when we first moved to this house, on my street, we saw like there was this other house for sale, but we decided to buy this one because we heard that at the other house there was this like teenage boy, and the teenage boy basically just went crazy and killed his two younger brothers, and
Jeez.
that's just on my street. Yeah, so like that when I saw that little girl there, I was like really freaked out.
Wait, are you sure it was a girl or do you think it was just a boy with long hair?
I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, but no, I'm pretty sure it was a little girl because I've had other experiences with a little girl in the house that I'll also want to talk about later. But first off, I
Whoa.
want Josh to tell the other story at his house real quick. So let's hear that real quick, Josh.
Okay, this was like 2 months ago, probably.
Yeah, this was
So
recent.
pretty dang recent. Um, so as I was talking about earlier, like me and my family are kind of susceptible to spirits, but we always thought it was super specific to me, my dad, and my sister. But 2 months ago, my mom was sleeping on just the couch in our living room, and she woke up probably like 3 a.m., which is said to be like the
The devil's
devil's hour or
Devil's
witch's
hour.
hour,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
hour.
And so that was just kind of freaky coincidence, but she was laying there, and then she woke up to a sound that she heard coming from the hall, and it was kind of just like a scratch and drag. And
Ugh.
so, and it was like
So
heavy
gross.
even. And she didn't really know what it was, but she didn't like care to get up because she probably just thought she was dreaming, but she wasn't. And she sees it come around the corner, and it's just this creature, with no legs and no
What?
face. So it's just this blank, like skin creature that's half a human basically with no face. and it's pulling itself with its arms like towards her. And then like leaps onto her and starts like
What?
whispering stuff in her ear, even though it doesn't have a mouth. She knows it's trying to say something, and she was trying to scream for help, and like she was just
Couldn't.
shaking, but she could not. Like nothing was coming
Dang.
out of her freaking voice box. And the next morning, like she was just like still sobbing, kind of. Just she was so freaked out. And my dad told me that something happened to her, and my mom could tell me if she wanted to, because my dad was like too freaked out to tell me.
Yeah.
This is in your house?
Yeah.
Yes, this literally happened in my living room.
Yeah. His living room,
Josh,
bro.
I don't know if I can work at your house anymore, dude. Like I get the vibe that it's like kind of creepy, but I'm like so scared of
Yeah,
your
No,
house
like
now.
there are, and like these experiences, like I completely believe these experiences, which is so crazy to me because like I'm a really like logical scientific guy, but when it comes to this, like I've had experiences that just make like I don't know what
yeah,
it is, it just defies logic, and it's just
yeah.
it sounds like it comes straight out of a horror movie. It's so freaky. I can't imagine like
Because
how
yeah, there's
scared
a
Ashley
different
was.
feeling when you make it up in your head. You're like, oh, what if I saw like
Yeah,
a zombie or something? Like, oh, that's just a fear that everyone
but
could
like the
have. Like when you
realization,
actually feel it,
yeah.
it's weird. And like that reminds me of another story that's just pretty short.
Go for it.
I was taking care of my neighbor's dog. Not my neighbors, my cousins, sorry. Because they went out of town, and it was just this cute little poodle dog. Kind of hate him actually, but whatever.
It's a really annoying dog,
Yeah.
facts though.
One time I was taking a nap in my basement, the scary place that Alex was talking about. And I woke up and I was walking upstairs. And as I was, there's a super long hallway that leads to my brother's room, the room that my dad felt there was weird spirits after what happened to my mom. And down there I heard a dog whimpering, but it was like pitch black, so I couldn't
Oh
see.
yeah.
So I heard a dog whimpering and like its collar shaking. And so I thought it was the dog that I was taking care of. So I was like, Romeo, come here, because that's the dog's name, Romeo. It's like, Romeo, come here. And nothing was happening. So I got kind of freaked out. So I kept walking up the stairs, and I see Romeo just sitting at the top of the stairs,
So,
just staring
dude,
at me.
that one just gave me
So there
goosebumps.
was
That's
so there
so
was
crazy.
basically like two different dogs,
So
but the
I,
one
s-
dog just didn't
yeah,
exist.
I don't know, dude. Like, because there's no way he just ran past me. He was just sitting at the top of the stairs. And one thing I actually noticed while I was taking care of him is that he would not go downstairs.
And dogs,
Dogs.
we have a firm belief that like animals are
Yeah,
they can
I've
definitely be
They're
more
like psychic,
susceptible.
bro.
yeah, they can see crap that we can't for sure.
Yeah,
So
I have a
I
strong
don't know
belief
if
in
there's
that as
like a
well.
spirit dog in my basement. I don't know what that would have came from, but I
Maybe it
freaking
came from
heard it,
him.
bro.
Okay,
I
so
heard it whimpering.
try and describe like the dog sound. Was it just like a normal dog or was it like a growl? Like
Yeah,
what?
no, it was just a
It was
whimpering.
a
Like
whimper?
it's like when you step on a dog or
Oh
something.
no.
You know that feeling when you just step on a dog?
And they're like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the yelp. It was like the whimper after, as if
Right.
it was hurt
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah.
Oh no. That's
And
so sad.
yeah, so it was just whimpering, and I heard the collar shaking like vigorously. I don't know why. And then
Like they're
I
wet and they
called
just
to
go
it.
like that.
Yeah, but yeah, it was kind of
Whoa.
like that, except it was whimpering at the same time. So I called to it, and nothing happened, and I was too scared to walk down there, but I couldn't see shiz. So I just ran upstairs and I saw Romeo.
You wanna know what's kind of an interesting thought that I actually just had? I've never thought of it, but like, supposedly, like evil spirits, demons or whatever, they like they take the shape of like something that you would like not be super scared of, right?
Oh,
Like
and that's why
that's
you
why
probably
little
saw a little girl.
girls, yeah, you see kids, right? Like they're not trying to show that they're big spooky scary spirit, right? They're trying to
Yeah,
trick you into it. So like a hurt dog, that's kind of like the epitome of
yeah.
like I don't know.
Like if I would have gone down there, I don't know what could have happened.
Yeah, cuz like
Yeah. In the words of Alex Jones, devils are very seductive.
no, that's so crazy though, man. Okay. Yeah, so since we're talking about that, I'll finish the experiences I've had at my house and stuff. Um so that happened like 2 years ago, and then I'd say I went like I don't know, like it was a long time ago, but it was like 2 or 3 months without having like anything. I was kind of freaked out about it, but like once again, I don't sleep at my house a whole ton, right? So I'm at Josh's house a lot. So like I wasn't super worried about it because I don't sleep there. But I sleep in the basement of my house, and so I was sleeping, and I had this dream, and I remember just like I can't remember. I had like a bloody nose or something. So I was going to the bathroom in my dream, right? And I remember just going into the bathroom, um, and basically the lights just turned off and the door closed. I'm just like, oh, real cliche, right? And then I'm, yeah, I know, right? So, but then I start like freaking out. I'm like, oh, I can't. I'm a little claustrophobic, so like I'm stuck in this bathroom. I'm like, I can't get out. And I started like feeling really weird. Like I remember having this feeling in the dream, and that's another thing that like even if Josh, your mom was dreaming, like the fact that
The feeling
the
is.
feeling is exactly the same in the dream, which is like
Yeah.
it's interesting.
See,
Uh,
that's yeah, that sucks so bad.
so I was having that feeling. I'm just like, oh no, that's bad. And the lights start flickering on and off in my dream. And this whole time I had a bloody nose, right? So like no blood is like running down my face and stuff, and it's just like flickering on and off, on and off, on and off. And I see like the little girl standing behind me, and she's moving with the lights flickering on, and
Ah,
she gets like right up like next to me behind me,
no.
and then I just wake up and I'm just like sweating really bad. And I texted Josh actually. I'm just like, we need to stop watching scary movies because I was freaked out, dude. Like that was one of the most scared I've ever been in my whole entire life. And so that
Yeah.
was really really freaky. But then I went like up until literally like last month. I hadn't had any other experiences though, so I was like chilling. Um, and so basically, quarantine started, and instead of me sleeping at Josh's a ton, Josh kind of came to my house and started sleeping here because I've got better internet. Um,
Pog.
yeah, I know, not bad. So Josh has been sleeping here as much as like I was sleeping at his house for a while. He basically hasn't left the past like month. He's left like a couple times, but he's basically living here right now. And so we stay up really late and play video games, which is probably stupid, but we do it anyways
Yeah, it's
because
fine.
the later in the night it gets, the more scary it gets. But we had been like we'd been kind of freaked out, and we kept like smelling this really weird smell
Ooh.
in my bathroom, and like obviously this bathroom's used by like five
Wait,
different
describe the
guys.
smell. Describe the smell.
Well, yeah, so
Stinky pee-pee
that's what I'm
bagger
saying. Like
or
it's
rotten
it's
eggs?
used by five different guys, so we're like, okay, whatever. But it didn't smell like poo at all. Yeah, didn't smell like that at
Poo.
all. And it didn't smell like BO really either. It smelled
Mm.
like rotting chicken. Like it straight up
Rotting
smelled like,
eggs?
no, chicken,
Oh,
dude. It
chicken.
it was chicken. It was like disgusting
I
like
hate
meat.
that.
Yeah. And so we've watched the Conjuring series or whatever, and we love that kind of stuff. And supposedly that like the smell of like rotting meat is like a sign that there are spirits near, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we'd smelt that, and it's, I don't know, I'm saying like around 3 a.m., but it's just really late at night. It's probably like 2, 3, 4, whatever. And so I'm going upstairs to get an energy drink because the night's young. It's just beginning for video games, right? So I go upstairs to go get my energy drink. There's a fridge in my garage that all my drinks are in. So I go out to get it. And when I go out to get it, I grab my energy drink and then I come back in, and noticed that like all the cabinets were open, and like that doesn't make sense at all because first off, my dad
What?
and my older brother are like super big like neat freaks. Like my dad goes around and does everything before he goes to bed, make sure like all the lights are off, everything's off, he does everything. So that didn't make sense to me at all. But at first I'm like, maybe like Jake and Will were up or whatever, they were getting a snack. But then I remembered it was like Sundays, so Jake and Will couldn't have been up. They're not allowed to be up on Sundays because they're not allowed to play video games on Sundays. And so I'm just like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. I started feeling that feeling again. Like my
No.
hair started popping up on the back of my neck and stuff, feeling just all weird. So I go downstairs, and Josh isn't in the computer room anymore. So I'm in a Discord call with Abe. And I'm just talking with Abe. I'm just like, I tell Abe this experience, or I'm just like, Abe, I'm kind of freaked out, dude. This just happened. And then Josh comes back. He comes back into the room, and he's just like, Alex, dude, I was just in the bathroom. And Josh, you want to tell your perspective of this?
Yeah, so I was just peeing, right? And I had locked the door, and all of a sudden, the door was just creaking open as I was
What?
peeing. And I'm like, oh, frick, someone's coming in. And then I finish peeing, and I see that no one's out there. I'm like, what the frick? And so I feel the
Jeez.
doorknob, and it's still locked. Like, it's still unturnable. And so then I go in and tell
No.
Alex, I'm like, Alex, what the frick just happened to me? I'm like, Alex, it smells weird in your bathroom. Like, yeah, like that weird chicken smell. And I'm like, and the door just opened while I was going to the bathroom. He's like, dude, what the freak? And then he told me what happened to him.
Yeah, I was
And it's
so
kind of just
freaked out.
weird timing that
Really
both
weird
happened.
timing. Yeah. I was so freaked out. I'm just like, dude, I'm not even kidding. Like, this is completely real. I just had like something happen to me upstairs as well. Um, yeah. So that happened, and
Basically
then
confirms it though.
that night, like the whole time we were playing video games and watching videos as we do, um, it felt weird in that room. Like it felt so weird, dude. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this. Honestly, it's so crazy. Um, and so me and Josh, we finish all our stuff at like 5 a.m. Right? We're just like, okay, let's go to bed. Um, so he's sleeping in my room on a mattress on the floor. So we go into my room. I lay down. We're going to sleep. I fall asleep, and then I have sleep paralysis for one of the like first times. Like I've had it maybe 3 times, I think. Once in my old house, and then once here, but I didn't see anything like Josh said. This time, so this is the same night all that happened, and I have this sleep paralysis, and I'm just laying in bed, and I see 2 figures in my room, and it's just like their backs, but one is like an older, like a mom woman almost, and she's chilling by this mirror, this like, which freaks me out because like mirrors
Mirrors
are,
are portals.
yeah, that's what people say, right? And so she's just standing by this mirror, like it's a full body mirror I have in my room. She's just standing right next to it, and she just has her back to me. And then in my closet, the same little girl is like hanging
No.
from a noose in the closet.
What?
And I was
You've never told me this, bro.
so, yeah, I didn't really I think I told Josh this. Josh, did I tell you this?
No, you actually didn't.
I was so freaked out, man. And I woke up the next morning and I texted my girlfriend about it. My girlfriend has sleep paralysis a ton. And
Really?
yeah, like her house is haunted too. I want to talk about that at some point, but not this episode. Um, and yeah, it was just I was so freaked out, man. Like I couldn't handle it. It's been mostly calm since then at my house. I don't think we've really had it. Josh,
Wait, how long ago
can you
was
think?
this?
This was
Yeah,
like, when was
Oh,
this?
weeks ago,
Couple week,
probably.
couple weeks, yeah.
Jeez.
Quarantine
Okay.
time has me so messed up, bro. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
My sense of time is so off.
Uh,
But
I
it's
could share the. You want me to share the story about like my mom? I don't really have any like stories myself, but my mom has a story about me when I was little.
the moms. Yeah, sure, man.
Yeah, that
If
one.
you want,
That
yeah,
was
go
pretty
ahead.
good. I mean, it's on the same thing as like the rotten eggs or rotten chicken or whatever. So like, we lived in Arkansas at the time, and uh, so I was a baby, so I don't remember this. This is just my mom's accounts. And in my room, every time she would come in, she said it smells like rotten, disgusting, poopy diaper chicken smell. She couldn't even handle. She felt bad for putting me in there. Like it was so bad, and it was only in my closet. Like it would radiate in the room, but as soon as you step out of the room, nothing, no smell, no nothing. She'd take me out. I don't smell. I'm good. I'm clean, right? And she after having this for like a week, um, there was someone living at our house at the time. I don't know who. My mom really didn't explain that well. I'll ask her after. But he was like, "Why don't you just get someone to bless it or something?" She was like, "Okay, sure." And then she gets someone to bless it instantly. When this guy blesses it, like he puts his hand to the square, priesthood is like, "Yeah, get the freak out," and then boom, gone, no smell, nothing for like forever. Then we come to figure out that it was like an Indian burial ground, so maybe it was something to do with that. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, ghosts are real, bro. That's
that's freaky
what I'm
for
saying.
sure. That is freaky. And I just remembered. It's like it's really weird me thinking back on all these stories. Like all my scary stuff, except for the solo stuff at my house I just talked about, has like all of my weird stories have been with Josh because me and Josh spent like all our time together.
Really?
And yeah, I'm thinking of like 2 different times I was with Josh and we just had like the weirdest, like most unexplainable things, right? So one time, um, me and Josh were at our friend Dylan's house, and I want Dylan to come into the podcast and talk about ghosts at one point too, because he doesn't believe in anything at all with
Literally
ghosts.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like literally, he thinks the world is just a natural place and nothing happens. Nothing.
Yes. So he thinks all that's just completely fake or whatever, right? So I want to have him on here and we can talk about that, but that'll be another episode. So we're at Dylan's house. His parents were gone and he's not LDS, so we were basically doing like a Conjuring movie marathon and we watched Annabelle as well. And so we were watching those movies, and in The Conjuring, it's important. In The Conjuring 1 at it's like what, 307, Josh?
Yeah, so in the first Conjuring movie, it's like talking about how this mom like killed her kids and then herself at 3:07 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so at one point in the movie, they realize that all the clocks get stopped at 3:07.
Yeah, so they
So
all
that's
just
pretty
stop at
significant.
307, and then they have the big realization like why it stopped at 307 later in the movie. But yeah, so that's like a spooky time. That's also in quote unquote devil hour, quote unquote witching hour. Um, so that's we were finishing all, dude, it's 3:07
Bro,
p.m.
it's literally 3:07 right now.
Oh, oh
No,
no.
I just
dude, no.
realized.
Well, dude, no, please. Oh
Oh,
gosh.
that's so crazy. No, it's 3:07 p.m. We're good, bro. We're good.
Okay,
Yeah,
true,
not
true.
not AM.
Yeah, yeah, we're good.
That is literally so weird though.
That's
Like,
so whack, yeah.
it
Anyways,
actually is pretty whack.
so we had finished all our movies. It was me, Josh, and Josh's older brother Jonah was there as well. And we had just finished watching the movies. So we're just like, all right, Dylan, it's late at night. We're gonna head home. So we hop in. Uh, Josh. This was before you could drive. Was Jonah
Yeah,
driving?
Jonah was driving.
Jonah was driving. Yeah. So we hop in his old beat up like 1998 car, right? And we hop in it and we're just gonna drive home. Jonah's driving home, and we're listening to music. Josh, you wanna finish the story, dude?
Sure. So yeah, we're listening to the song called "This Is Gospel." You probably all know it by Panic at the Disco. And we're driving home. We're going down Dylan's windy street, and right.
Oh, you're cutting out,
Oh,
Josh.
Josh, you're glitching out.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start from and right as soon something.
Okay, as soon as we passed this lamppost while we were driving, it turned off, and my phone paused the music.
Oh
So
no,
yeah, the
frick?
lamppost just turned off.
dude! If
And I'm
it's 307, I'm
and
quitting.
I'm like, what the frick? The time wasn't 3:07.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
what
was
time
late
it
at
was.
night, but we don't know
Yeah.
the actual like.
And
Yeah.
so I'm like, what the frick? And then my phone just dies completely. And it's at like 50%.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. And I get home and I charge my phone and I look at the song that we were listening to, and it's 3 minutes and 7 seconds long.
Yeah.
So it's 3
3 minutes and
colon
7.
07.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was just freaking crazy.
So
bro.
freaky.
We
And
were so scared.
we had the weird feeling as well. Even when we were getting in the car, I was telling Jonah and Josh, I'm like, dude, it feels creepy. It feels like something's watching us or whatever. And we get in
Yeah.
the car and we drive past that lamppost, and that happens. And I'm sitting in the back seat, and I was just constantly looking behind me because it felt like something was watching us. And we, after that happened at the lamppost, none of us said a word, and we just drove home in like complete silence because we were all so freaked out about it.
Dang, that's a good story.
Yeah, so that one was spooky. And another time, I don't know what this is, to be honest with you, but this was really freaky as well. It happened with Josh. So we are driving in middle of nowhere, like absolutely nowhere in Utah. It's called Hooper. It is like just farm country, like it's just nothing basically. This tiny little town. So we're driving through Hooper late at night because where were we going? Were we coming home from someone's house? Was it Abe's?
I have no idea. Probably.
Yeah, I don't know why we were out there, but we were driving
It might have
around.
just been Homestead summer.
That's true. Yeah.
True.
So we were just coming home from there, driving back on these back roads, and nobody was on these back roads because it's way too late at night. We're just driving, and we're just listening to music, chilling, and as soon like we were just driving on this road, and we just see this like creature, this thing. I don't know what. Like I genuinely don't know what it was. This like elongated like creature of some sort. I don't know. It just scuttles across the road, and I'm just like, what was that? Like, what was that? And Josh also saw it, and he's like, "What is that thing, dude?" And it gets to the end of the road, and it goes to the grass, and it just like disappeared. I don't know, like it didn't like we didn't see it moving in the grass after that. It was just completely gone as soon as it got to the grass. And I thought I was bugging out, but then yeah, I talked with Josh. Josh saw it too, and it was a really weird experience. And another thing with that is there's like the folklore of like the rake or whatever, which is like
Yeah,
this long humanoid creature
that
that
people specifically say they see in Hooper or like a city that's also by Hooper called
yeah.
Warren.
Yeah, so like there are lots of sightings in Utah. Like we have friends that have sightings of
Yeah.
this rake thing in Hooper. And so like that's also like a folk tale that's not indigenous to Utah, right? That's a pretty like common
Yeah.
spooky story, but I don't know. It could have been the rake, it could have been something else. Whatever it was, it just completely disappeared once it got to that grass. And it was really weird and unexplainable to me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about all our juice in one episode,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah. True.
we have a lot of ghost experiences. We're just hitting the tip of the
Yeah.
iceberg with Josh's stuff right now too.
Dude, we could do a ghost debate, like
Yeah, when
fake
you guys
versus
do that
not.
debate, you should definitely talk about flow,
Oh yeah,
I was
true.
thinking about
local
flow. I was
Utah
thinking about
legend.
flow. Dude, I was
Yeah.
literally thinking, what if we did like a podcast where we just drive there and then
A video?
go
Dude,
for it? Yeah.
that could be really cool actually. So Flow is this like folklore that is in Utah. It's in Ogden. Um,
Ogden Cemetery. Yeah.
basically there's this girl, was her actual name Florence?
Florence. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's this girl named
Florence
Florence,
Grange or something like that.
and correct me if any of my storytelling here is wrong, because actually, Sonny, you should probably tell it because I feel like you know more. You're kind of the Flow
Yeah, I
expert.
do. Well, yeah, kind of, but here's like the story. This isn't what actually happened, but this is the story behind it. So, this girl, this is the story of why she does what she does. So her boyfriend, she would go. Okay, wow, where am I at? Okay, so at her house, she would have her boyfriend come pull up at the driveway, flash her light at her window, so out in the house and go with him. And then supposedly she died one time doing this.
Because it like
And
wasn't her boyfriend, right? She got hit by a
that yeah,
car or something.
that's the story. She got hit by a car.
Yeah.
And then so now when everyone goes like to her road or like her where her grave is, you flashlight twice. Supposedly she like move out and then like you can see her and she'll like do stuff. But supposedly that story isn't true. Like Miley, one of our friends, is like related to this. And like the real story is that she just got cancer and died. So
Yeah,
but
but
it's still
there are
There's
the
so
thing,
many people that claim they've seen it.
hundreds upon hundreds,
And
like
I've
so
done
many.
it 3 times and I have never seen
yeah,
it.
I've never seen
Yeah,
it. I've done it as well,
dude, I
but
need to I need to explain my experience. So I went with
Here, you
I
should
don't
do
know
it when you actually talk about.
yeah, we'll save
okay.
that for another, because we want to have a full discussion on Flow for sure. I think that'd be interesting.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, it's really weird because like you'll find there are so many people that will vouch like 100% that like they saw something, that it was completely real.
And they're being legit
And
too.
like you can tell these people, yeah, they're like 100% convinced that they saw something. And these are from people that are like skeptics. These are from people that completely believe. My English teacher, Mr. Checkits, like told a story to the class one time where he saw it. Like this dates back so long ago too. Like it's just a really embedded folklore within like Ogden culture and stuff. So yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
want to talk about that for sure. That'd be good. But
Mhm.
I think we're pretty good here for this episode. I don't want to drag it on too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, this will be episode 1 of Ghosts. We definitely want to talk about Ghosts a lot. That's one of the main things we want
This
to
is
talk about on the
yeah. It's like
podcast.
almost main thing.
Yeah, we really enjoy talking about this
Literally
kind
our
of stuff.
inspiration for our name as well. So
Yeah, Chills fan club, dude. Shout out Chills.
yeah.
He's the one who started it all, dude.
His videos more.
Yeah, so it, this is something we're definitely going to cover more in depth and different topics in this category too. We want to talk about ghosts a lot. So definitely be looking out for more ghost videos. But this has been the first episode of it. And yeah, thanks
been
for
real.
listening.
Thanks for listening.
Make sure to follow our Instagram, Chills Fan Club. Instagram, we recently got
Well-
published on Spotify too. So all our stuff
Yeah.
is on Spotify under Chills Fan Club. And we're currently in the process of getting it on Apple Podcast as well. So that should be within the next week or two. And then
Yeah,
YouTube
we'll
as
put
well.
Josh's Instagram in the description and all of ours as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
follow us because we're hot.
All right. So Josh, thanks for talking with us, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, bro.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for talking.
It was a good
And-
time. I had a
listening.
great time.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
to everyone who listened through this. All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Perfect.